Welcome back to Mark Carney's book club. This is the fourth part of chapter 16, the final chapter in the book, and it's definitely going to be a lot of parts because this is a very long chapter. So we're going through the values that have been a common theme throughout this book and how they tie into how Canada can build value for all, and we are finishing up fairness and responsibility. He says that we must take measures to make markets both effective and fair. We need the right hard and soft infrastructure, and we need to promote competition. So there you go. He does acknowledge that, thankfully. It also requires transparency and the publication of all relevant information and equal access to that information. Fairness is a value that Canadians hold dear. It's part of the fabric of who we are. Following decades of sustained growth and inequality, fairness for the middle class is a moral and practical imperative. A prosperous middle class is critical to sustaining the functioning and legitimacy of our economic and democratic institutions. Next, we're going to talk a bit about resilience, and he says the state has been failing in its fundamental duty to protect. A pandemic has been allowed to run rampant, leading to the wholesale withdrawal of personal liberties and entire populations facing risks of unemployment and inadequate healthcare. These twin crises arrived only a decade after people's savings and jobs were imperiled by the implosion of global finance. Meanwhile, governments struggle to protect the media and electoral commons from foreign interference. So we need a more disciplined approach to building resilience so people can withstand shocks and the economy can recover quickly from those shocks. We need to recognize systemic risks in order to build resilience. Systemic risks arise from interconnections and feedback loops in our economy, financial system, climate, and biosphere. These characteristics of the system take bad triggers and make them worse. Many shocks cannot be prevented, but the damage they cause can be significantly reduced. At the highest level, we have been living through the systemic risks from unfettered capitalism. In the abstract, it might be individually rational to pursue shareholder value maximization to the exclusion of other stakeholders, but eventually it proves socially disastrous. Okay, I agree. Can we redeem capitalism here? I don't know. So now he's going to go into how we build resilience, which we need to do in order to kind of forge ahead. He says that there's 2 ways to build resilience, and then he goes on to name like 6. We're just going to go through all of them. First is that authorities should be given specific responsibilities for identifying systemic risks and taking the necessary actions to mitigate their impact, while being accountable to explain what progress has been made and which gaps remain. He references a G20 report which identified that countries need to develop a more rigorous approach to assessing these systemic risks and thinks that we'll do well to consider examples set by Nordic countries. He says authorities and companies must plan for the future. A booming economy can give the illusion of lower risk, which feeds beliefs that future growth is more strong and more sustainable than it actually is. Risks are often the greatest when they seem the least, he claims. Third measure is to conduct stress tests and war games to help plan for the future. Authorities need to think about what will happen when something goes wrong, not spend time justifying why it never will happen. Ask not what you can do to the market, but what the market can do to you. Then examine the consequences. The results of these stress tests and war games should be made public with specific follow-ups to boost resilience and someone else to mark your homework. Fourth measure is to build buffers and then use them. Buffers are useless unless they can be implemented under stress. In healthcare, prudential buffers include PPE stockpiles and testing capacity. In cyber, they include backup systems and contingency plans. Sadly, there are no buffers that can ensure against climate risks. The only protection now is to catalyze early action, in part through a credible path for carbon pricing. The fifth measure is that diversity should be promoted in all of its forms. A diverse system is more resilient, and we need to promote it in our institutions, strategies, and processes in assessing risk. And lastly, and most important, is the diversity of people. And on that, he says, Canada is blessed with a rich cultural mosaic that we must continue to celebrate and foster. We have benefited greatly from our strong immigration system, and there remains exceptional and untapped economic potential in multicultural communities across the country, from Scarborough to Surrey. All Canadians must feel at home in our society. When Canadians can bring their whole selves to work, Canada's diverse people, geographies, and regions create diverse economic engines that fire at different times. When we work together, our shared federation has the potential to make us more economically resilient. Next, we're going to switch from resiliency to sustainability. Sustainable development meets the needs of the present generation without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. Its pillars are economic, environmental, and social. It is an understatement to say that we have been eroding them all. The burdens from mounting government debts, underfunded pensions, inadequate health and social care, to environmental calamity that we are pushing on to the next generation are unfair, inequitable, and irresponsible. So the pillars of sustainability are interdependent. For example, the climate crisis, its solutions are tied to our physical, economic, and social well-being. We can't achieve environmental sustainability if we sacrifice with it our economy and people's livelihoods. Prime Minister Stephen Harper was right. Canada is an energy superpower, blessed with diverse energy sources including hydro, oil, natural gas, uranium, solar, wind, tidal, and biomass. We have become the world's 5th largest energy producer. Our success came from the hard work and ingenuity of our energy industry that has reinvented itself over many years in multiple ways. Building on that long track record of innovation, we are now developing some of the most exciting emerging energy technologies. We have the people skills, drive, and entrepreneurial spirit to realize their potential. But this time, we will want greater control over our destiny. Too often, we have been the price taker on less than advantageous terms, from electricity and heavy oil. We now can shape a continental energy strategy that achieves a zero carbon future through a transition that supports all our people in every region. We need to put in place the conditions for our energy industry to continue its history of reinvention while reinvesting the proceeds of traditional energy sources in the energy opportunities of the future. Our efforts to build sustainability must be in partnership with Indigenous people. We must improve further partnerships with Indigenous communities on natural resource projects to empower social and economic development while protecting our environment. One way to advance this goal is by providing the option for more economic benefits sharing agreements, including equity stakes in projects, so that communities can benefit more from the economic upside of development. This is but one aspect of a larger economic reconciliation effort that can include, among other initiatives, support for Indigenous-led businesses and high-quality healthcare. More fundamentally, our approach to sustainability should draw on the wisdom of Indigenous people. Indigenous communities know that environmental and economic considerations are not independent factors to be weighed against one another. They are intrinsically linked. In many parts of Canada, such as on our Pacific coast and along our rivers, the environment is the economy. Indigenous traditions teach that we are not apart from nature but are integral to it. I have learned from my experience of Canada's North that we are just one small and humble element of an integrated ecosystem. We have to earn our right to take from our environment while always respecting and nourishing it. We're going to continue on the sustainability discussion on how Canada can build value for all in this last chapter of the book. Okay, stay tuned. Let me know what you think.